even like hearing it no more. Nigga, this
See, I've
should
been
be
here for a
top
little minute.
10.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
I see niggas, they like to talk a lot, they like to claim this shit, they like to claim this and that. You know what I'm saying? They like to be above what they really is and have authority.
Oh,
But they don't really need that authority, they don't really know what to do with that leadership. You understand? You hold hands with this white ass, need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. So everybody ain't with all that peace talk, everybody ain't with all that. Let bygone be. Boy, ass need to stop and ask shit. Prophets about to get serious. Boy, when they hit us with dope and kill us with crack, what the fuck with your leaders? I'm curious. You cashed down on your blood, traded you in and bought a new biz. Ask you the prophets, I tell you the scheme. If you don't wake up, you gon' die in your dreams. I say you won't tell you no more. I swear these crackers try to kill us slow. Just spoke to a nigga and fed and up on parole because of the COVID. It feel like the hoes in this world that don't go together. Know there's gold in the ghetto. I'm in the city blazing with my niggas. Just told the devil the score never settle. Hey, give me the props. I'm tired of these niggas keep talking about, you know, you respect my religion, I respect your religion. Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you the prophets. You know, like we all come together. Cause you know what I'm saying? They say God so loved the world. God so loved the world and boy, your ass need to stop and ask you. Don't give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Yeah. Hey, gentlemen, y'all don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up. You know what I'm saying? Boy, your ass need to stop and ask shit. Oh, I don't wanna step outside of the show for the fake niggas. Stay silent, I got it, let's go, let's go. I ain't taking no losses, ain't no talking when we got the flow. Ain't no peace, just pay with your own. I'ma be loyal to the right arm. Tell them we can't keep it slave. And I can never let bygone be bygone. Got you, baby mother on high, baby pass through the fire. Ask you the prophets, that baby so belong to the Lord. How dare you abort it? Never will fail you, bitch, I can't afford it. I prepare slaughter, you bring me my water. Push your leaders weak, let them lies slip through their teeth. They ass need to stop and ask you the prophets.
That's just the reality, Christians. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. I know your pastor lied to you every Sunday for 30 years, but that's what the church is for, lying. That's why it exists to lie the money out of your pockets.
Boy, your ass need to stop and ask you to give a damn what you talk about. Don't give a fuck what you believe, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. We don't pray on our knees, nigga. Gotta stand up and serve my God. We don't pray on our knees, nigga.
Hey, Shalom, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of GEN.YAHANNA. And what we do is we teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who they are according to the Bible. In tonight's class, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about Esau, how Esau has no history. That's the reason why he pushed all these holidays up on you. And right now, we up in our high holy day, because that's where they get holiday from just the term we use, high holy day. And that's why they celebrate Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving, all that stuff, you know, because they don't have no history. You know, they had to make up stuff, you feel me, so they can feel good about themselves. When all they holidays is pagan and about the death of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But if I could, we start off, go right into the scriptures, go to Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because what you got to understand is, like, all people have been here before. All our spirits have been here once upon a time. You feel me? Like, ain't nothing new. Everybody's been here once upon a time. And Esau, the so-called white man, was definitely here. And we're going to get into his history, you know, the history that he do got, that he don't want to teach. Here, you go ahead with that.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Right, now the sons of men, that's talking about the heathens. You feel me? And because judgment is not executed against them speedily, they're going to keep sinning. They're going to sin even more. You feel me? It wasn't enough of them slaughtering the Native Indians. They had to make a holiday about it. It wasn't enough of them lying saying that Christ's birthday is December 25th. They got to push it on your children in school. You feel me? Read that from the top.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work.
Right, sentence. That's talking about the punishment. Like when you go to jail, you get sentenced for how many years you get.
Is not executed speedily.
Right, so because Esau didn't die quickly, because he enslaved blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, he pushing all these holidays. You feel me? Go ahead.
Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Right, it's setting them to do even more evil works. You feel me? Esau is set to do more evil works because he didn't die quickly because he killed Tamir Rice. Their whole race didn't die.
Right.
They ain't dropped dead.
Right.
Because of Tamir Rice died, Philando Castile. So they going to keep killing black people even more. Feel me? They going to keep murdering us even more. But what you got to understand is this is something that they've been doing. You feel me? Their day is coming. And because it wasn't executed expediently, they're going to keep doing more and more stuff to where the Most High going to wipe them off the face of the earth. So, yeah, you could drop that. Go to Revelations 12 and 7.
The book of Revelations, chapter 12, verse 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon.
Right. Now, this is John the Revelator, having a vision about what he going to see. You feel me? And this is talking about once Christ return. You feel me? With them angels and stuff like that. This John the Revelator, that's what he's seeing. He's seeing the war against the dragon. The dragon is Esau, the so-called white man, and his armies and his nukes, his drones, all the stuff he built. You feel me? The space force that they about to start. That's Michael and his angels is fighting against the dragon, which is the so-called white man. We're going all the way to verse 13.
And the dragon fought against Salaki. And the dragon fought and his angels.
Right, his angels. That's talking about the heathens. You feel me? Because what they going to do is when they fight in World War III, all of the nations, they going to turn. And when they see Christ and them angels, Michael and all them coming out the sky, they going to turn and try to fight the angels, man. Like that's why they revving up the UFO sightings, and now they want to say it's real. They want everybody on alert because they want all the reports. They want all the reports of the UFO sightings. So that's why they letting everybody know that it's real. Oh, you keep going.
Verse 8, and prevailed not. Neither was their place.
Prevail not. So that just letting you know they're not going to win. They're going to lose that war. You go ahead.
Neither was their place found anymore in heaven.
Right. They fell from that heavenly state. It was over with. Because that's the whole point of the angels returning, to get the heathen out of this heavenly state that they're in.
Verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out. That old serpent.
That old what?
That old serpent.
That old serpent. You feel me? Because the dragon and the serpent in the garden is the same person. It's the same spirit. It went from the serpent in the garden to jumping on Esau, the so-called white man. And that serpent in the garden grew into a dragon because of the lies that it was feeding off of, that it was telling, and it was feeding off of, and it turned into a dragon. It went from a serpent into a dragon. The dragon is a so-called white man. The serpent has the spirit, is the spirit of the white man today. You can go ahead.
Slack yourself, got a question if I could. Back in verse 8, it said, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Does that mean we're not going to look up to him anymore?
That's all it's talking about. It's talking about the Cedar Borgia. It's talking about the skyscrapers. It's talking about everything. Like the white people rule, and that's all it's talking about. It's talking about the changing of the guard. It's talking about how they not gonna be ruling no more. We gonna be ruling. Your sons and daughters gonna be ruling. Feel me? And it's whether they like it or not. You know how some people, no, white people cool. I'm cool with white folks. They good with me. Well, whether you like it or not, your sons and daughters is gonna rule, and they not. Right. That's what that's talking about. It's gonna be a changing of the guard.
Slakia, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And
the devil. That's why we say our oppressors is the devil the Bible speaks of. You feel me? This is going to happen on earth. This is not going to happen in under the ground. This is going to happen on earth. It's going to be a fight between the angels and Satan.
called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world.
Right. That's why I say that's how the serpent grew from a serpent to a dragon. You feel me? With the lies it was telling, and people was believing.
He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Right. When they say the earth is talking about being cast low to a low state, they not high up no more. You feel me? They at the bottom. They gonna be the third, fourth class citizens, and blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is gonna be the top. You feel me? They're gonna be the top first class citizens everywhere you go.
Verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ.
That's when we gonna get the kingdom. After the Third World War, they gonna fight the angels, man. The what they call the UFOs, the angels. They gonna fight the angels, and then blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is gonna get the kingdom, which is on earth.
For the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
Right. Think about it. If you ever been to court, you know who the accuser of your brethren is. So-called white man. Karens. What they call them, Karens. The accusers of your brethren, man, gonna be cast down.
Which accuse them before our God day and night.
Right. What they make you swear in on the Bible? They make you swear in on the Bible in court, and they still give you 100 years. You swear in on the Bible and said you ain't did it. He still gave you 100 years, man. You know how many black men been getting out of jail for what they say they ain't even do it? It's been so many. I see it on Facebook so much I get disgusted. That many black men steady getting freed after 30 years, 40 years, man. Man, stop it, man.
Verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb.
Right, by the blood of the Lamb. You feel me? By the death of Christ, man. Us wanting to follow after the Most High. You feel me? Because of the death of Christ. Because him dying for us, man. And the respect we have for him doing that, man. That's how all this going to take place. You feel me? And we starting it right now in I.S.U.P.K. Because everybody in I.S.U.P.K, man, we sad. You feel me? We sad that Christ had to get up on that cross, man. When we found out that was a black man and he died for just us, man, that hurt us so bad that we never wanted to sin again, man. And for the blood of the Lamb, what happened?
And by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto death.
Right. Love not their lives. We gave up our lives, you feel me, for the truth. When we found out Christ died for us and he was a black man, we gave up our life, you feel me? And that's faith. That's faith. Giving up your life for something that you can't touch right now, man. That's faith.
Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Destruction unto the inhabitants of the earth. The inhabitants of the earth are the heathen nations, man. We don't run nothing. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we run nothing, man. And they say destruction to the inhabitants of the earth, man. John the Revelator was happy for what he's saying. When he seen them nations be destroyed by the angels of the Most High, John the Revelator was excited. He wrote it down in prison.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea.
Keep going.
For the
That's
devil,
just talking about they, like, you know, the Navy, all that stuff.
for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Right. Esau, the so-called white man, know he have but a short time. That's why he pushing these holidays on your children, man. Trying to devour the baby as soon as it be born, like the Bible said. Pushing all these holidays, all these religions, man, knowing it ain't real. Knowing ain't none of that stuff real, man. Pushing all that stuff, man. Knowing it ain't real because he know he got but a short time. Killing all these black people and say, oh, he fear for their life because they know they got but a short time, man. That's why after the COVID lifted, it was so many black people getting killed. You feel me? Like it was nothing, man. Because they know they have but a short time.
Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman, which brought forth the man-child.
Right, the woman is the children of Israel. We was always compared to a woman because we was married to the Most High. And they persecuted us, and we brought forth the man-child. The man-child is the spirit of Christ, man. You feel me? The spirit of Christ, keeping the laws and commandments, fearing God unto death, man. And Esau is that serpent, man. Esau, the so-called white man, is that serpent reincarnated, man. But yeah, you could drop that and go to Genesis 4:9. We'll talk about the history of the so-called white man, because he don't even know his own history. Walking around thinking he was Paul and Peter now, not knowing you was the devil. Salaki,
everybody.
Oh, everybody, yeah, everybody. You know, we always talk about how you think he the last samurai. That kills me, man. They said the last samurai, man. They could have put Jackie Chan or something. They put Tom Cruise, whatever his name is. Yeah, you go ahead when you got it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 9. And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Right, that's Esau. Cain and Esau is the same spirit. And am I my brother's keeper? That's Esau, man. Killing all these black people, man. Oh, I ain't do it. I fear for my life. I thought he was breaking in the crib. Am I my brother's keeper? That's what they saying. When they say, oh, he had a toy gun. Am I my brother's keeper? That's not a good saying, man. Saying am I my brother's keeper is evil, man. That's saying you don't care where he's at and what's happened to him, man.
Verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
Right, the Most High, the angels know what he did. They just trying to see if he gonna tell the truth. Say, man, what have you done, man? Your brother blood is crying from the ground. Emmett Till blood is still crying from the ground. They trying to make a movie about it. Hollywood don't even want to let them do it. Am I my brother's keeper? That's why. They want you to forget about Emmett Till, man. They want you to forget about Black Wall Street, man, when the blood is crying from the ground. Keep going.
Verse 11. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Oh, you curse on the earth. That's why Esau just can't Esau have to kill and murder to get to where he at, man. Esau have to do all this enslaving and stuff, man, to prosper. That's what Esau got to do, man. Go ahead.
Verse 12. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Right. You ever heard about GMO foods? Esau run the world. In the book of Job, in the book of Job, it say the wicked rule the earth. I'm paraphrasing. You feel me? It say the wicked. The earth is ruled by the wicked. And what the scripture just say about why they got to put GMO foods and all this, what is the cauliflower chicken? Salakia.
Verse 12, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength.
Right. Esau running the earth right now. And Esau, which is the spirit of Cain, has the spirit of Cain, got to make GMO foods. All these seedless grapes. I keep still wondering how is these seedless grapes. Somebody type it in the chat, man. How did they get these seedless grapes, man? I'm just keeping it real. If the grapes ain't got no seeds, I don't even want it. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie. That's why I ain't even been eating no fruit the last year. Because I don't know what am I eating. Like, I'm going to just keep it real with you. But you keep going.
A fugitive and a vagabond.
And a what?
And a vagabond.
Okay, it say he going to be a vagabond. You feel me? A vagabond. Damn, we already went low. A vagabond is a person that moves place to place. That's a vagabond. Somebody that moves place to place, man. You feel me? And that's what Esau been doing. Esau went from the caves, from being a Neanderthal, to being the Japhetic people in Europe, to being Australian, when there's Aborigines there. Oh, man, come on, man. The last samurai, like we always like to say. Now he's an American, when they was ruled by the native North American Indians. You feel me? That's the tribe of Gad, which I come from. You feel me? Come on, man. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. Is part of Esau giving up his inheritance part of him being a vagabond?
You could say that because he don't have no inheritance.
When he gave up his inheritance to
right.
Jacob?
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. You feel me? We had to go into his story though, and Esau's story, and put the scriptures to go with it. But yeah, you could say that because he gave up his inheritance. So you don't have no land, you don't have nothing. You feel me? But this scripture in Genesis you could use for Esau too, because Cain and Esau is the same spirit. You feel me? And they say a fugitive and a vagabond. He is a fugitive. Esau is a fugitive. You know better than you know. Esau is a fugitive. Think about you being a fugitive. You a criminal, but you the one that put the people in jail. think about how you gonna treat the earth, man, and wonder why it don't till. You can't till the ground. You are the fugitive. You the person that needs to be locked up. But you also the person that has the power to lock everybody up. And that's why Esau running around, like he running. Like, because he is the person that locks you up, and he's also the fugitive. That's crazy. Yeah, you keep going. We going all the way to 15.
Verse 13. And Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear.
Right. That's what Esau going to say to the Most High when Christ and them angels come back too.
Verse 14. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
Right, that's what we saying. Esau, this Cain, but we know Cain and Esau the same spirit, and it's finna prove that when it's talk about the mark. But yeah though, Esau, that's his history. Esau is a fugitive and a vagabond. You feel me? Moving from place to place. Went from the Caucasus Mountains to being the European, the Japhetic people, when all the Irish people was black. The Scottish people was black. King James was black. He ruled England, Ireland, and Scotland. He was the king of all three, and he was a black man. And he was at war with the Catholic Church. You feel me? He was at war with the Catholic Church, and that's why he had to get them records and translate them, because they was manipulating the people.
Like you say, the Germans too.
Oh, the Germans. Man, look, all that stuff was black people, man. Them was black people, man. They came out the caves and wreaked havoc, man. And that's because in Revelations, the Most High said he was gonna let them do it. He said, I'm gonna let them loose a little season. And that's exactly what the Most High did. And them being a fugitive and a vagabond, they wreaked havoc. You feel me? They wreaked havoc, and shit, they took over the earth. Took over the whole earth.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay thee.
Where we at? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Now that's for sure. That's what I'm saying. These precepts, it go right with Esau. You feel me? That's how we know that Cain and Esau was the same spirit. Because everybody wants to kill Esau. Everybody from the Chinese, the Japanese, even their own selves, man. The Russians want to kill the Americans. The Germans want to kill the Jewish people. You see, vagabond. They went from being the Europeans to being the real Jew. How y'all the Europeans and the real Jew? How y'all Christians and the Jews? Like, come on, man. But yeah, though, like, yeah, everybody want to slay him. But they can't. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
Right. Go kill a white man. Go ahead. Everybody talking about what I.S.U.P.K. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. We getting guns. What the NFAC say? We getting guns. We doing this. What happened to their leader? Read it. Go ahead. Read it. It's right there. What happened to the NFAC leader? What did it say? Vengeance.
Vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
And the feds. What happened to Haiti?
Vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
Because they had the revolution, which was amazing, and we applaud them for that. Haiti getting free from the French or the Portugal? One of them. It was one of them. But what happened?
Vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
They still suffering. They don't get no resources. They don't get nothing. The so-called Haitians don't get nothing, man, because of that revolution they had, because that's what's in the scriptures. If you try to attack Esau, which is spiritually Cain, vengeance going to go up on you sevenfold. You feel me? It's going to go up on you sevenfold. Like, think about if Ahmaud Arbery would have took that gun out they hand and shot them. He'd be doing 40 years. They'd give him 40 years to life. 25 to life. He wouldn't have got manslaughter. 5 years or just probation. You feel me? Like white people get probation for manslaughter. They don't have to do no time. Cal Rittenhouse is up in college, Arizona State already, and the students at Arizona State signing petitions to get them put out, to get them kicked out. They signing petitions because What the scripture say?
Vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
Right. And the Lord want this. The Lord want to set Esau up so good, like we brought out in Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. You feel me? You think because vengeance didn't come now, you feel me, that you escape from it, when that's not true. Because it didn't happen expediently. You think you got away with it. No, you didn't. Cain, Esau, so-called white man today, is all the same spirit. And they did not get away with it. You feel me? They did not get away with it. And it's going to happen what we brought out in Revelations 12 with Michael and his angels when they come and destroy this place. You keep going.
And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Right. And the mark is he leprosy. You feel me? Where he see the blood show forth through his skin. You feel me? Just like the so-called white man today. The so-called white man has the mark of Cain, where you can see his blood through his skin. And that's why Rebecca asks, why is her stomach hurting so bad? With Isaac and Rebecca, she say the priest told her, 2 nations are in thy womb. Well, I don't want to say priest because it don't say priest, but it was a man of the Lord. You feel me? So we know it was a Hebrew. And he said, it's 2 nations in your womb, and they fighting. Because them the same ones that was fighting with Esau and Jacob was the same ones fighting with Cain and Abel. Esau and Jacob was Cain and Abel all over again. That's why they was fighting in the stomach. Because reincarnation is real. We all come back. We all come back. And Esau history is nothing but murder. Nothing but murdering and forcing people to believe what he believed. He started monogamy. Esau started monogamy, and he forcing it on everybody. That's why it's so much lust and divorce, adultery, just all type of lustful sexual acts because of Esau pushing monogamy on everybody. But yeah, you could drop that and go to John 10 and 22.
Book of John, chapter 10, verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication.
The feast of who?
The feast of dedication.
Okay. The feast of dedication is in the Bible. Let's say, okay, a lot of people say the Apocrypha, we don't deal with the Apocrypha. They don't never say it's not, spiritually correct, but they just say we don't deal with it because the so-called white man took it out. And we finna read why he took it out in the next couple verses. The next couple chapters we finna bring it after this. But we had to bring this out because everybody believe in the New Testament. All the Christians, all the so-called white man, I almost said something else. All of them believe in the New Testament. And in the New Testament it said what?
And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication.
So why they don't celebrate the feast of dedication? Why do they celebrate Christmas when it's not in the Bible? Why do they celebrate Thanksgiving when it's not in the Bible? Why do they celebrate and push all this stuff when it's not in the Bible, man? Because the Bible is a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man's book. And they know it's not their book, but they know it is the record that the Most High wanted here to civilize us, to teach us the truth. And they knew they could use it to make their nations better. That's why every nation on earth take stuff out of the Bible, but they don't take everything because it's not their book. But they take little stuff and use that to build their nation. You keep going. We're going all the way to 27.
And it was winter. Verse 23. And Yahushua walked in the temple in Solomon's porch.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 24. Then came the Jews round about him.
Also, everybody was celebrating. It was a big thing. It was a big thing. The Feast of Dedication is big. Christ celebrated it. The Jews celebrated it. So why don't nobody else celebrate it? But us and I.S.U.P.K. under Command GEN.YAHANNA.
How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Christ, tell us plainly.
Right. They don't really know, man. They just had faith, so they stuck with them, but they ain't really know. They question them and stuff.
Verse 25. Then Yahushua answered them, I told you, and ye believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me.
Right, he said, I ain't got to explain none of y'all. The stuff that I'm doing show that I'm the Messiah. You feel me? To show I'm the Messiah. You feel me? And that's the same thing with the I.S.U.P.K. Just look at our works. You ain't gotta, like, we ex-drug dealers, killers, gangbangers, all that, man. Whoremongers, pimps, all that. And we stopped doing all that because we fear the Most High in Christ. What the purple cats do? They killing women. They having sex with trannies. What GMS doing? They having sex with white girls. What all these fake Israelites doing? They sinners, man. What the Christians doing? They sinners. And what Christ say?
I told you, and ye believe not.
Now, we told you I.S.U.P.K is the home of the truth, and you believe us not.
The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness
All
of
the
me.
food we give out, the clothes, the mission to Acunia, the Kentucky 8, it bear witness. Salakia, bear witness. You keep going.
Verse 26. But ye believe not, because ye are not of my sheep, as I said unto you.
Right, you ain't with me. You feel me? You ain't with me. And that's how we is in I.S.U.P.K. You don't want to come to class? Don't come. You feel me? You don't want to sit down with the brothers and sisters, man, on these feast days? Don't come. You don't want to wrap your head? Don't come. You don't want to put on all black? Don't come. We ain't tripping. We ain't worried about none of that, man. You feel me? And that's what Christ's saying. You not of me. Like, what? Get away from me. You not of me, man. You go ahead.
Come. Verse 27. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me.
Right, man. That's what it's all about, man. You feel me? We trying to get the ones that Christ want us to go get. We not trying to save everybody. We not the Christian church. You feel me? We trying to save the ones that want to be saved, man. We gonna come bring you this truth every Saturday on the corner, Friday nights on the corner, all classes, Monday through Sunday. We gonna bring you this truth. But whether you want it or not, that's how we gonna know if you of Christ's flock. Right. That should be saved anyway. So now, that's the first part of the class. Esau was a murderer from the beginning. Esau has no history. Esau don't know nothing. The Feast of Dedication is in the New Testament in John 10 and 22. But don't nobody celebrate it, though. But you celebrate Christmas. You celebrate. Matter of fact, read that one more time. Just 22 through 24. Because that's heavy. Like real time. That's real heavy.
The book of John chapter 10, verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter. Verse 23. And Yahushua walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Verse 24.
Right. They say Solomon's porch. That's where he was at. He was in the temple, man, that Solomon, you feel me, ruled in. You feel me? That King David killed, you feel me, to get established, man.
Verse 24. Then came the Jews round about him, and said unto him.
Right, you can stop it right there. I'm just saying, like, the Feast of Dedication is in the New Testament, and don't nobody celebrate it. Y'all celebrating Christmas. Y'all celebrating New Year's. Y'all celebrating your birthday. Ain't none of that in the Bible. So, yeah, you could drop that. Now we finna get into the Feast of Dedication, the second part of the class. You feel me? The Feast of Dedication. You feel me? That's our history. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that's your history, man. You feel me? The time when we fought. We fought, man, to get back what was ours, man. That temple that Christ was in on Solomon's porch, man, they polluted it, man. They polluted it, and we fought for it. Got it back. You go to first Maccabees 1 and 44. So now we in the Apocrypha. For anybody that don't deal with the Apocrypha, we just read to you about a feast day that started in the Apocrypha. So you can get that out your head that the Apocrypha ain't, scripture, or you just don't deal with it because it ain't in the Bible no more and they took it out. It don't matter, man. We just read to you how the feast day we celebrate now is in the Apocrypha, but they celebrated it in the New Testament. Christ did. You go ahead. We going all the way to 50.
Kind the book of First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 44. For the king had sent letters by the messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land.
Right. That's King Antiochus. He was a Greek. You feel me? He was a Greek. Just like right now, we under these so-called, white people that took on all these Japhetic names. You feel me? But these are the sons and daughters of the Greeks and the Romans. You feel me? That we dealing with right now today. Because ain't nothing new under the sun. Like we brought out in Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. You feel me? We brought that out earlier about how just because it didn't happen expediently don't mean it's not going to come. You feel me? All the wickedness they done us because it didn't happen expediently. The Most High is setting these people up for failure, man.
Verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple.
Right, man. They forbid us to basically do our normal duties. You feel me? Do our normal duties just like the so-called white man doing today, man. You look at them and hey, they looked at me so crazy. How was your Thanksgiving? I said, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. They look at me like, what? I'm telling you, I'm telling you. At the slave, they couldn't believe. They say, dang, you don't celebrate Thanksgiving? Yeah, like, I'm telling you, look at you so crazy, man, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to celebrate their stuff, man. That's what they want.
And that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days.
Right. So the Sabbath day, every sundown Friday, you feel me, to sundown Saturday, we do no servile work. And basically they say, nah, y'all got to stop that. We losing money. And who do that today? The so-called white man, the sons and daughters of these Greeks. They don't want you, worshiping, not worshiping, Salaki. I'm talking too fast. They don't want you, how would you say it with the Sabbath? How would you say it, like, in better terms?
As far as they don't want you to observe it.
Observe the Sabbath. That's better words. You feel me? Observe the Sabbath. You feel me? Because Sabbath was made for man, not man made for the Sabbath.
Right.
You feel me? But they don't even want you to observe the Sabbath. You feel me? They want you to work. They want you to do servile work, man.
Verse 46.
Oh, so like, and it say festival days. So that's why they don't celebrate the Feast of Dedication. Or to even tell you about it. Because that's our day. You feel me? Our day. The Passover, that's our day. That's why they don't want you worshiping none of that. You feel me? They don't want you celebrating none of that, man. They don't want you observing none of that. They want you to celebrate Christmas, man.
Verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Right, they polluted it, man. They polluted our sanctuaries, man. And our holy people separate, man. You feel me? Got them worshiping idols and stuff like that. Think about Jesse Jackson and all these so-called black leaders, man. They polluted. They the children of Israel, but they polluted, man. With Christianity, man. Greek mythology. I bet every last one of them in a Greek fraternity. Yeah, you keep going.
Verse 47. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh.
Right, they did what?
Sacrifice swine's flesh.
I'm telling you, man, I always say it that pork is spiritually connected to the so-called white man. It's something about that pork, man, because it's like the most unclean animal on earth. And the so-called white man is the most unclean person on earth. They had to sacrifice swine's flesh. They could have did catfish or shrimp and lobster. But they had to do that pork, man.
Right.
Verse 48. And they shall also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation.
Right. That circumcision, man, that was like a covenant with the Most High that we had to circumcise all our sons on the 8th day. And they told us to stop because they knew that was something that we had with our God, something they don't got, because Esau don't got no history. And that's the title of tonight's class. Esau has no history. So they wanted to make us forget ours. They don't got no history, so they want us to forget our history.
Verse 49. To the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
Did we not? Did we not? Did we not forget our law? Man, look. People out here eating pig ass. Look. And they don't even do it until this time of year. Until this time of year, I'm telling you, they eating pig ass. When that was something that was disgusting to us, man. Chitlins, man. That was disgusting to us, man. Because we didn't profane our law. And we just doing what the heathen do.
Verse 50. And whosoever will not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Right, he shall die. You feel me? You don't do what the king say to do. You don't forget your God, forget your Levitical law, all that stuff, man. You gonna die, and that's right now today. You feel me? That's right now today, man. You will starve at your mama house, man. Growing up as a kid, you will starve. You feel me? Because that ain't nothing but your mama ain't doing nothing but serving pork. That's all my mama served as a kid growing up. I would have starved to death. I would have died. I would have died. You feel me? Because that's just all that's being served at the table. You feel me? That's all. You don't want to celebrate Mother's Day and all that stuff, man. I'm telling you, now you and your mama is into it. Now she hates you. You the worstest child because you don't want to celebrate Mother's Day, man. I'm telling you, man. You don't want to get away from your God and stuff like that, man. You will die. You will lose your woman. You don't want to celebrate Christmas? Man, your woman to leave you, man. Your woman to leave you because you don't want to celebrate Christmas, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, all these scriptures is manifold. You feel me? This is talking about spiritual, too. This ain't just talking about physical. It's a spiritual death you could have.
It's like it, sir. If I could, I was watching General Muhammad's class, and he said you have freedom of religion except this one.
Mm-hmm. God. You can be whatever you want to be but a Hebrew Israelite. You go tell your job, you anything but a Hebrew Israelite, they'll hire you, man. You tell them you're a Hebrew Israelite, you the first one on the list to get fired. You the first one on the list. But if you a Christian, you employee of the month.
Salaki, you know Muslims celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas too.
You know what I learned about Muslims, and that's heavy that you said that. Muslims don't have no morals. Muslims don't have no morals, man. They sell crack to their own people. They do all this righteous stuff. They sell crack to their own people. Like, I'm for real. Like, okay, Philly and Chicago is the only cities in America where the Bloods and Crips couldn't infiltrate. But do you know why they couldn't infiltrate Philly? Because of the Muslims. Because they were so black power, we love our people, this, and y'all ain't coming here with that. And then they selling crack and heroin to their people. Like, so the Muslims is just idiots, man. Muslims, they just nothing but Christians on steroids, you ask me. It's like, but yeah, you could, was that 50? Yeah, you could drop that and go to 2nd Maccabees 6 and 6.
The book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts.
Fast.
Salakia fast. Or profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Right, see, fasting came from us. They try to act like Ramadan and the East Indians, and man, that came from us. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians was the only people that fasted. Nobody else done it, and they try to get us to stop. They try to get us to stop fasting. You feel me? Because they know that's spiritual, man. And that's why we celebrate the Day of Atonement every year, man, where we fast for 24 hours. Well, you can fast really whenever you want, you know, as long as it ain't too long, because you can't go too long without food, too long without water. But I'm just saying, ain't nothing wrong with having a fast whenever you want. They try to get us to stop it completely because they knew that was spiritual, man. And they try to get us to forget the Sabbath and the ancient fast And that's exactly what happened. And that's how we became Greeks. That's why the New Testament written in Greek. That's why they Paul and all them going to all these Greeks and Timotheus and all this. That's why they going to all these Greeks, because they wasn't real Greeks. It's just they was the sons and daughters of the ones that chose to stay Greeks. You feel me? They chose to do what?
Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
To profess himself at all to be a Jew. This is why they took the Apocrypha out of the Bible, man. It's too much history in the Apocrypha. If they just take the Apocrypha out and just go from old to new, everybody be confused. And you can say whatever you want about the Bible. The Apocrypha is the correlation that shows, you feel me, the connection of how all this stuff got to like this. Feel me? And we forgot who we were, and we thought we was Greeks. And that's why the scriptures say nor Jew nor Greek. That's why I say that. Because the brothers stopped being Jews and became Greeks. Just like we became Americans. We went from Negro, Afro-American, African-American. Man, come on, man. Stop it. This talking about black people. The Apocrypha is the proof. And it showed a connection.
And Salakia, sir, if I could, sir, and still think you Greek today in these college fraternities.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Come on, Most High in Christ. These college fraternities, man, they be Greek stepping, doing all type of gay initiations, all type of weird stuff to get in these Greek fraternities, just so when you get a job and you let everybody know you whatever. I don't even know the names on, but whenever you feel me, you get hired or you get boosted up quick and, you know, be a supervisor or whatever, man. They're just selling yourself. You selling your soul to the devil. That's all you doing when you join these Greek fraternities. You say, forget the Most High, and you become a sinner. You just, you selling your soul, man, for pleasure, for right now. Oh, yeah, you could drop that. Go over to chapter 7, 1 and 2. So we're going to talk about some people that, because we're in the Feast of Dedication, so we got to, touch on the Feast of Dedication and, the history behind it and stuff like that. So now we're finna talk about, a family, you feel me? That, they didn't feel like, they should, become Greeks and forget their law and all that. They would rather, just stay Jews. Like Peter and them. Like Peter, that's what Peter's problem was. He knew that like a lot of them, brothers they was going to was Israelites, but he just didn't mess with them. He didn't mess with them, and that's what the dream that Peter had was all about. That he gotta go to them, man, and teach them the truth. But Peter was from the side of the family that, they never, turned away from the Most High and became Greeks.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh.
Shrimp, crab, and lobster.
Swine's flesh.
Octopus?
Swine's flesh. And were tormented.
What is up with this swine's flesh? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Swine's flesh is a direct correlation between white people, man. Pig and white people is the most unclean things on earth. That's why they always go back to swine's flesh. It's a lot of unclean animals, but it's something about that pig that they cannot get rid of.
Salakia, sir, if I could, that's all they barbecue today.
Man, look, I'm telling you, man, it's something about that pig, man. It's something about that pig. They know. You feel me? They know, man, that it's a correlation between them and them pigs, man. Because they the most two unclean things on the earth.
And were tormented with scourges and whips.
Right, they whip. Wait, whips? I'm just saying, you want to know why they took the Apocrypha out the Bible, man. We already told you the Feast of Dedication is what we're reading about. And it's in the New Testament. You feel me? That's where the Feast of Dedication came from, out of the Maccabees. The first and second Maccabees.
Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die.
We're ready to live.
ready to die.
We ready to die. And I.S.U.P.K and the Commander Johanna, we ready to die. And when they say ready to die, that's why I say that's spiritual. Because it ain't just about physical death, it's spiritually. That means losing your job, losing your children, losing your women, losing your money, losing whatever you love for the truth, man.
Rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers.
Of our fathers, man. We can't forget the laws of our fathers. They always want to talk about your granny. Your granny ate pork for 90 years, and she was as healthy as an ox. But her ancestors didn't do it. So she was just as much as a sinner as I am. You feel me? We can't transgress the laws of our fathers, man. You feel me? We got to start a new generation of men and women that don't want to sin, man. That would rather, die than transgress the laws of our fathers, man. But I'm saying that's how we became Greeks, though, man, because it was rough. Them Greeks was monsters. The Greeks was they was killing you for not eating pork, man. They was for not eating pork. That's the same as you getting killed for a traffic stop. It ain't no different. What's the difference, man? It's nothing new under the sun. It ain't no different. For not eating pork, come on, man. That's a lock here. It's a lock here, man. Feast of dedication. We in the Feast of Dedication for 8 days. You feel me? Coming to I.S.U.P.K and Commander Johanna. Yeah, you could drop that and go to drop that in verse 20. Cause now, that was one of the sons. He was out of the 7 sons. He say, "Nah, we ain't doing that." He was a soldier, man. He was a soldier. He said, "We ain't eating no pork, man. We don't care what you talking about." And this is the king. He talking about the king sent the man to them that make him eat pork. He wasn't trying to have none of that.
It's like it's 7 and 20.
Okay.
Come. But the mother was marvelous above all.
Hey, they say the mama was they say she was the realest out of all of them. You feel me? You say it ain't no good women in the Bible. You feel me? They say we don't acknowledge women in the Bible. We just man, look, man, the Bible say the mother was marvelous above all of them.
And worthy of honorable memory.
Right. Why are we talking about her right now? She worthy of honorable memory. That's why we talking about her right now. They mother was a commendable woman, man.
For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of 1 day.
Right. They killed all 7 of the boys. That's the lineage. They killed all of them because they ain't want to eat pork.
She bare it with good courage because of the hope that she had in the Lord.
Right, because of the faith she had in the Most High, man. You feel me? And that's why she's remembered right now. You feel me? She didn't care about no hot girl summer. She ain't care about twerking in the club. You feel me? She ain't care about what her man was doing, what he doing on Facebook. She ain't care about none of that, man. She had faith in the Lord, man. And if you women want to be remembered, that's how you could be remembered. Have faith in the Lord, man. Not in Facebook or your phone. Or your man phone, rather. But yeah, you drop down to 24 and 25.
Come, verse 24. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised, and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths.
Right, so he trying to gas up the youngest son that was left. Trying to gas him up, butter him up, make him feel good about eating that pork.
That he would make him both a rich and happy man.
He do what?
Make him a rich and happy man.
Right, that's just like our Christian leaders today, man. The so-called white man, like I say, he ain't got no history. That's all he try to do is force us to do something. That's all he try to do is force us to do something. That's all he do. Just like he trying to do with this young son right here, because if that young son or any other sons would have ate that pork, everybody else would have done it too. Everybody else would have been like, yeah, man, forget it, man. We just going to do it. We just going to eat pork. We're going to become Greeks, and that's it. But nah, it was brothers that stood tall. And they say, man, look, man, we'd rather die than be a sinner.
That he would make him both a rich and a happy man.
Mm-hmm. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all these Christian pastors. You go ahead, though.
if he would turn from the laws of his fathers.
Right, that's all they care about, man, is getting us to get away from the Bible, man. They the ones pushing this a white man book. Black people think they made that up. White people pushed that when they realized we knew the truth. Because they couldn't get rid of it. They knew they couldn't. It was too late. But once we realized it was our book, man, they didn't push it that it's a white man's book when it ain't. And now all black people saying it, the conscious community and all them saying it. You keep going.
And that also he would take for him his friend and trust him with his affairs. Verse 25. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him,
Right, the little brother said, I ain't trying to have none of that.
the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life.
Right, so yeah, he trying to get the mother like, look, man, tell him that he gonna be the last of y'all seed. You feel me? Ain't gonna be none of y'all left. He gonna be put to death. He trying to get the mother, because the mother, she was with it. The mother, she was not going for none of that. She was with the business, man. She was a soldier, man. And she told her sons to die. She didn't tell none of them to eat the pork. She told all of them to die, then transgress the laws of your fathers, man. Because that's how serious not eating pork was to us, man. Yeah, you could drop that and go down to 37.
Come, verse 37. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life, the laws of our fathers.
Right, now that's the little brother. This is what he's saying to the king. After the mother was supposed to go to him and convince him to eat the pork, this is what he ended up telling the king. He the last one left out of all the brothers.
Beseeching God that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou, by torments and plagues, mayest confess that he alone is God. Verse 38.
Right. But look, the little brother, he say, I'm offering up my body and my life. He talking about to the nation. You feel me? So they could stay strong. You feel me? Instead of them crying and weeping, he did it so they could stay strong, man. You go ahead.
Verse 39. Then the king, being in a rage.
I'll go to 38 first, then go to
Salakia. Verse 38. And that in me and my brethren, the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease. Verse 39. Then the king, being in a rage.
Right, so hold on, wait. In 38, what he was just basically saying, like, they'll be a sacrifice to our nation. Yeah, that's all he was saying. Like, we going to be a sacrifice. That y'all should do the same. That y'all all should rather be wiped out than become sinners. Unlike we are today. Today, we rather be sinners than just be, holy, separate, don't do what the heathen doing.
Handed him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked.
Right, so he felt played by the mama. So he did the worstest to the little brother than all the other brothers. He did him the worstest. It don't say exactly what, but if you look at any slave movie, you can about depict what he could have done. Strapped him to a horse, beat both of the horses, whipped him all night. Man, ain't no telling what he could have done, man. Cut his head off, cut his genitals off. Ain't no telling what he would have done. But this story, they had to take out the Bible. Because if the slaves would have read this back in the 1700s, they would have knew. Which most of them did, anyway. But I'm just saying, they all would have knew, like, man, we the Jews. You feel me? And like we say in I.S.U.P.K, the Jews are black. Jews are black. And it's right there. You feel me? The stuff that happened to the Maccabees happened to us. Right here in America, in Egypt, man, in Assyria, in Rome. You go all over to 41.
Verse 40. So this man died undefiled.
Undefiled. He never committed no sin. He was a righteous brother. He ain't never committed no sin. And he died. You feel me? Righteously. Just like Christ. Same thing happened with Christ. You feel me?
And put his whole trust in the Lord.
Right, that's why Christ celebrate the Feast of Dedication. He read this story. He read these records. And he celebrated the Feast of Dedication.
Verse 41. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died.
Right after all that, he killed the mama. He was so pissed, he killed the mama. He killed all the sons. They all died and was willing to die. Then he killed the mama right after that. Right after that, he killed the mama. So yeah, now you can drop that. Go to 1 Maccabees 2:18. Yeah, they had to take that out the Bible. That's too much strength. You feel me? That's too much strength being shown. They had to take that out of the Bible. Because if they didn't, maybe it'd have been some black people in slavery would have had too much strength. Like Nat Turner and all them. You feel me?
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 2 verse 18. Now therefore, come now first, and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Yea, and all the men of Judah also.
Right. So yeah, so they this is the king Antiochus trying to get all the Jews to basically become Greeks, just like the Americans trying to get everybody to become Americans.
And such as remain at Jerusalem. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends.
Mm-hmm. And the king, they're saying just be like the king, which is a Greek.
And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards.
Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, all these Christian leaders, this is nothing new. We going through it all over again. We went through it in the Maccabees, and we going through it now. It's a lock here. We went all over to 28.
Verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake in a loud voice.
Right, Mattathias, he would have been like, man, he would have been like the most influential person among us at that time, because he had a bunch of sons and a bunch of people that respected him, man.
Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away, every one from the religion of their fathers.
Right, so the Greeks not only made us, the Greeks made everybody, just like the Americans do. When you come to America, it's Chinese Christian churches. You hear me? It's Arabs that's Christians. They made everybody fall away from their, religion, what they believe.
And give consent to his commandments.
Right, what he wants.
Verse 20. Yet I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers.
Right, so Mattathias say, nah, we gonna do what the Lord said to do.
Verse 21. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances.
Right, because he remember Egypt. He remember the story that happened in Egypt. He read the records, man. And he know that, man, I'd rather just serve God than do what you want me to do.
Verse 22. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left.
Right, say we ain't going this way or that way. We stand right here where we supposed to be.
Verse 23. When he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin.
Right, so after he gave this big old speech, this big courageous speech, here comes some Uncle Tom coon. That's just like when we at camp. When a brother just out there blazing, going hard on the corner on the microphone, and some black bitch or some Uncle Tom nigga walk up. Y'all racist. Y'all wrong. Hit this blunt. Man, you know that didn't happen before. They walk up to the camp asking you to hit the blunt at camp. Like, come on, man, I'm telling you. White girl want to walk up. I love black men. Trying to see what she can seduce you, man. Here comes some Uncle Tom coon. Walk up.
According to the king's commandment. Verse 24. Which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled.
Right, so he was sitting on the horse, and he was so mad that the thing you hold with the horses that be in their mouth to look, it's I guess that's what it's called, the reins, when I looked it up. But that's what, I don't know if that's what it's called today, but that's what it is. The thing that be sitting in the horse's mouth so they could control which way it go, it got to shaking. You feel me? Because he was so mad when he seen the brother, which was a Jew, walk up and say, forget what Mattathias is talking about. I'm finna eat it. I'm finna eat this pork.
Neither could he forbear to shew his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him at the altar.
Right, he killed him. He seen him, after he gave that good, courageous speech, he murdered him, man. He killed him, man. Because he sinned against the Most High. That was a sin. Be punishable by death, man. To not serve no other idols, man. You feel me? To not eat no unclean thing, man. He murdered him to show that we ain't going this way. We ain't doing that. So it was brothers standing tall, just like the I.S.U.P.K is right now. It was brothers back then standing tall with the law and with the commandments, man. They try to make it seem like everybody was just a good slave and this, man. No, it was brothers ready to die, man. You better look up some of them slave stories, man. A lot of them lynchings happened because brothers was ready to die. It wasn't just because a white boy got drunk and he decided to kill a nigga. You know how much a nigga is worth? You think a slave master's finna let you just kill his nigga because a nigga stepped on your shoe wrong? Or, man, no, stop it, man. What's happening right now happened same in slavery, man. They was killing niggas because niggas was done this or done that. They wasn't just killing niggas for fun. You better go look up some of them stories, man. But you go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 25. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down.
Right. This is what niggas was getting hung for back in slavery. But they'll tell you that they were just hanging niggas for fun because niggas is just weak and incompetent and stupid. This is why niggas was getting hung, man. Because they did what?
Who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down.
Right, he killed one of the king's commissioners. That's what niggas was getting hung for. Niggas was getting hung because they was Nat Turner and stuff like that. But Hollywood will tell you that they were just hanging niggas left and right just for fun. Nah, it was a lot of niggas that wasn't going. It's that simple. It was a lot of niggas getting hung in slavery, and that's because they wasn't going for that shit. But they'll tell you we was just weak and just soft and scary, and they just, oh my God, I'm scared of a white guy. Like, nah, it wasn't like that. A lot of niggas didn't care. Just like right now. Right now today, a lot of niggas just didn't care. Even though we in slavery, they don't care though. They'd rather die, man. And that's why niggas was getting hung so much too. That's one story they don't want to tell you about. Because they want to make you think all the slaves was just soft and weak and scary and all that. But yeah, you go ahead. We're going all the way to 28.
Come, verse 26. Thus dealt he zealously the law of God, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri the son of Salem. Verse 27. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me. Verse 28. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that they ever had in the city.
Right, left all they ever had in the city. Just like at camp. We got to go to ground. We got to leave everything. And we got to go to ground. But no, but yeah, though, that's what they did, though. They told everybody to come follow them, man. Everybody that love the law, that don't want to eat pork and be a sinner and be shamed in the face of the Most High, come follow them, man. They finna fight. They finna fight, man. That's what they don't want to tell you about them slaves, man, back in the 1700s. Man, there was a lot of them that wanted to fight. And that's why they was getting hung. But they'll tell you that, oh, he stepped on a white man's shoe. And they just hung him on a tree. Nah, they was ready to fight. They don't want to tell you that. Why would they? Because guess what you would want to do? You would want to fight. You would want to fight. So yeah, the last scriptures we'll bring out, just go to 1 Maccabees 4 and 52. 4 and 52, and we'll read all the way to 61. And that is talking about the Feast of Dedication.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month.
The what?
The 5 and 20th day of the 9th month.
On the 25th day, huh? Yeah, right. Esau ain't got no history, man. Esau ain't got no history, man. They not slick. You keep going.
Which is called the month of Caslu. In the 148th year, they rose up bedtimes in the morning. Verse 53. And offered sacrifices according to the law upon the altar
The new altar.
Salakia. Upon the new altar of burnt offerings which they had made.
Right, because they had to make a new altar because they had to fight to get the temple back. They had to fight to get the temple back, man, because the Greeks polluted it, like we was bringing out earlier.
Verse 54. Look, at what time and what day the heathen hath profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs, and citherns, and harps, and cymbals. Verse 55. Then all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success.
Right, they won that war against the Greeks, man. The Greeks was monsters at that time. And they won and got their temple back with guerrilla warfare in the mountains.
Verse 56. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days.
Right, so for 8 days, they had fun. They partied, they drank, they, feel me, ate good food for 8 days. And that's what we doing right now in I.S.U.P.K, man. For 8 days, we're going to acknowledge, man, and celebrate these brothers, man, that stood tall, you feel me, for the law.
And offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. Verse 57. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold, and with shields.
And with what?
And with shields.
Don't ever ask us ever again, why do we wear the shield of David, man? Don't ever do that. This was Solomon's temple, man. Who was his father? King David, man. And they decked it, you feel me, with gold and with shields, man. In remembrance, man, of Israel.
And the gates and the chambers they renewed, and hanged doors upon them. Verse 58. Thus was there very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away.
Where all them people that chose to be Greeks, you feel me, that was scary and didn't want to fight, man, these brothers stood up and fought for them. And that shame was put away.
Verse 59. Moreover, Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year.
From year to year. Some that don't nobody do but the I.S.U.P.K and the Commander GEN.YAHANNA. We celebrate the Feast of Dedication from year to year. The Feast of Hanukkah in the Hebrew.
By the space of 8 days, from the 5 and 20th day of the month of Caslu, with mirth and gladness. Verse 60. At that time, also they builded up the Mount Sion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before.
The Gentiles, in this context, is talking about the heathens. If Gentiles just mean nations. And they always wanted to destroy Israel, man. And we chose to become Gentiles by not serving our God.
Verse 61. And they set there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethshura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea.
Idumea is the so-called white man. Feel me? They set it up to have a defense because they knew he was never gonna stop, man. He was never gonna stop. But that's the end of tonight's class. I'm gonna pass it over to the trooper. Feel me? Read the security announcements. I.S.U.P.K. Kentucky Brotherhood class. Esau has no history. Esau was a murderer from the beginning. Feast of dedication. Get into the I.S.U.P.K. near you.
ISUPK security announcements. We have the ISUPK started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10. A tenth in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. The Feast of Purim. Give a courtesy salute to the brothers watching the class. Majim Shabbat. Majim Barak. Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatham. Courtesy salute to the sisters. Majim Shabbat. Majim Barak. Yahweh Shemal Lathalam B'Shem Yahweh Shah. Class dismissed.